News network Al Jazeera's purchase of Current TV is meant to give it more access to the U.S. market, but how successful can the channel be? Joining me now is Professor John Owen from City University in London. Professor Owen, you used to work for Al Jazeera, so tell us, why is it so important for Al Jazeera to have more access to the U.S. market?
Well, I think the original reason for Al Jazeera was that it wanted to advance the influence of the Gulf, the Emir of Qatar's interest, and to provide another perspective on the world. And that was in the original plan, but it never quite got there. And when there was a real effort, a real push a couple of years ago at Al Jazeera, and I was there at the time, to create an Al Jazeera Americas, there just simply then was a change of leadership at Al Jazeera, and they kind of backed off that plan because they didn't think cable operators would carry it anyway.
Okay, and of course, do you believe we've seen Time Warner Cable, I believe it's the U.S.'s second largest cable operator, already drop Current TV from its lineup. Do you think that Al Jazeera will have a difficult time from other cable operators not wanting it on their cable channels?
Well, it's already had that problem. I mean, it's had to really inch along. It finally had a small breakthrough in Washington. It did get Time Warner, or at least one of the other major cable operators, but at a rather obscure channel. It's on PBS in the West Coast. It's at various places, but no consistent opportunity. And what you didn't say when you noted what Time Warner did was Time Warner just signed a big deal with BBC Americas. So Time Warner is thinking, why are we putting all this money into BBC Americas, and at the same time turning over an opportunity to Al Jazeera? I'm sure that's in their thinking. They care about money.
Okay, and of course there's been a lot of controversy, or there was in the past a lot of controversy surrounding Al Jazeera in terms of how viewers felt about the channel in the U.S. Do you think it's changed a great deal since the time that you were there?
Well, first of all, I mean, it must be said in terms of substance, in terms of the channel itself, it's a terrific channel. It has remarkable resources. Its biggest kind of dilemma was what to do about the historic kind of context of the name. And that went back to the time in which Al Jazeera became initially the kind of go-to channel in terms of the Bin Laden videos. Al Jazeera kept pointing out that all others also ran the videos, but nevertheless it kind of stuck. Al Jazeera equates to Al-Qaeda, and its detractors were using that against it. But Al Jazeera English had such a incredible performance during the Arab Spring and has won all kinds of awards, the Columbia DuPont Journalism Award. Its kind of impartiality has been kind of tested in a number of areas. There are a few concerns, but in general, it's one plaudit. So, it's a really remarkable channel with resources all over the world. And also, interestingly, in the United States, it will have more bureaus outside of Washington probably than anybody else. And that's been its strategy, move out across the United States.
Okay, and well, with so much competition in the U.S., do you believe that there is room for a channel like Al Jazeera to really gain ground?
Well, I think there's room. There's obviously infinite room for all of these channels, assuming cable operators want to give up. And I was just in California and sat in Los Angeles scanning what was available. And as you know, as you look at all these channels, they're mostly nothing. I mean, they are limited commercial operations. The big interest is, are Americans interested? How much opportunity is there in terms to tap into what we know is a very small minority niche interest in the world. There are those who buy The Economist, buy the Wall Street Journal, read The Guardian overseas. There are a number of people who are frustrated that they can't get international information from domestic channels. That's the window that's there, but whether or not Jazeera can exploit that remains to be seen.
Okay, and I have a feeling we're going to find that answer out soon. Thanks very much, Professor Owen, joining me from City University in London. For more on that story, you could go to WSJ.com. Thanks for watching.